Long ago, there was a prince of the Tuhad Edanand, named Miyar the Proud, who was known throughout the land for his beauty and the splendor of his garments. He lived with his wife Famnach in a Shi, an underground stronghold named Brile. With them there also lived a son of the Dagda named Angus Og, whom Miyar loved like a son. But the time came when Angus was old enough to return to his own Shi, Brina Boine, the most important in all the land. Miyar soon began to long for Angus's company, so one autumn day, just before the feast of Samhain, he set off for Brina Boine on the banks of the River Boyne, leaving Fumnach behind. Along the way, he met Aideen, the daughter of a king, whose beauty was famed throughout all Ireland. Indeed, it was said that nothing could be called beautiful until it had first been compared with Aideen. As soon as Miyar saw her, he fell deeply in love with her and carried her off to Angus Og's house. There they lived for a year, and Miyar was so enthralled with Aideen that he forgot everyone else when she was with him. In Brile, the druid Brisal, who could see into the hearts of men, learned of Miyar's love for Aideen and brought the news to his stepdaughter Fumnach. Now Fumnach was a jealous woman, and as the months passed and Miyar did not return, her jealousy grew, and she begged Brisal to help her to banish Aideen from Miyar's mind. At last, Brisal grew weary of her begging and taught her some of his magic art, which she practiced in the secrecy of her own room. When a year had gone by, Miyar decided to return to his own house at Brile, bringing Aideen with him. Fumnach welcomed them both warmly. "It is indeed a great honor for us to give shelter to a royal guest in our house," she said. Then she turned to Miyar. "Show your wealth to the queen's daughter." Aideen and Miyar wandered around Brile, looking at its fine halls, rooms, and playing fields. When they had seen all the palace, they returned to Fumnach. "Now let me show you to your room," Fumnach said to Aideen, and led the way to the bedchamber. The room was warm and welcoming, and a large fire burned in the grate. In the middle of the room stood a chair, and Fumnach invited Aideen to sit down. As soon as Aideen was seated, Fumnach hissed, "You occupy the chair of an honest woman," and struck her with a wand of scarlet rowanberries. Aideen immediately disappeared, but on the floor beside the chair there lay a little pool of water. Fumnach ran from the house and fled from Brile to seek refuge with Brisal, for she was afraid of Miyar's anger. After a while, Miyar went to Aideen's quarters to find her, for he could not bear to be parted from her for long. He went into the bedchamber and found it was empty. He searched the house from top to bottom, becoming more and more uneasy with each minute that passed. He hurried out of the gates of Brile and onto the playing fields, but neither Aideen nor Fumnach was anywhere to be found. In a flash he realized that something terrible had happened to Aideen, and that Fumnach and her jealousy were the cause. Distracted with grief, he returned to the bedchamber, but Aideen was not there, and he left the room without even noticing the pool of water on the floor. When he had gone, the fire grew hotter and hotter, and the floor began to tremble, and the water became transformed. Slowly it took on the shape of a worm that lay coiled by the chair where the water had been. The fire began to grow hotter, and the worm shed its skin and became a beautiful crimson fly with jeweled eyes and enameled wings. As the creature struggled from the floor and began to beat its wings, her music, sweeter than the sound of harp or horn or pipe, filled the room. Wherever she went, by day or night, she shone like a jewel and filled the air with a sweet fragrance. Dew fell from her wings, and those it touched were soothed and healed. Though she had the body of a fly, Aideen still had the nature of a woman, and she flew out of the window to search for her beloved Miyar. She found him asleep and flew round him where he lay. As Aideen's fragrance filled the room, Miyar awoke and saw the beautiful creature on the windowsill. He knew at once that it was Aideen. As she flew around the room, the music of her wings and the dew that fell from them soothed him, and his loneliness faded into peace and happiness. Together, Aideen and Miyar travelled throughout Ireland, visiting feasts and gatherings where Aideen's presence brought joy and healing to all who saw her. Aideen watched over Miyar, warning him when danger approached and comforting him with the music of her wings. Once more Miyar was happy and thought of nothing but Aideen, and they returned to live at Brilliant.